It's Randy Orton.
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
Hey guys, what's up? Mr. B Leno here, and today I thought I would talk about something that a lot of people I've kind of been seeing talking about across the kind of wrestling community online, and that's the possibility of a brand split in the WWE, and basically whether I think, in my opinion, whether it's, you know, the right thing or, you know, the wrong thing. Now, the brand split, I guess, officially ended in late 2013 when they merged the two world titles, the WWE and the World Heavyweight. But in my eyes, it kind of ended earlier, because I think around that time of 2012, after like WrestleMania 28, you know, they didn't do the draft anymore, and people were like chopping and changing between brands, so there was not really a brand split anymore, in my personal opinion. Like, you had, for example, Daniel Bryan, who's on SmackDown, go for the world title, and then he'd go for the WWE title on Raw. So in my opinion, it just sort of, I'd say the brand split like kind of died in like 2012, but I guess officially it died in late 2013 when they merged the two world titles with the Cena and Orton match. Now, I remember at the time loads of people being like, oh yeah, I think definitely they need to merge the world titles, you know, they need to have just one world title, as, you know, it's definitely the right thing to do. And now that the time's sort of gone by, now so all of a sudden you've got these people being like, oh, we need the brand split back again, that's what WWE needs. And it's just really confusing, because one minute you've got brand split and people are like, oh no, we need just one world title, you know, and don't have the brand split anymore. And then as soon as you do what they want, you then get people being like, oh no, we want the brand split. So it's just a bit sort of confusing, really. I guess you can never really please anyone in that sense, but I mean, what do I think? Do I think there should be a brand split? Do I think that, you know, is it necessary? You know, and honestly, I don't really think there's a point for a brand split. And I've seen people argue the case for a brand split, and I can see why people would want it, but I just think the main factors for, you know, I just don't think the brand split's necessary, simply because I think, and you know what, I think this is WWE's fault to an extent. There's simply not enough guys, not in terms of size, like, there's a lot of guys on the roster, but I think the problem is WWE haven't built up enough guys to compete at the top. So in my opinion, I don't think there's enough guys to kind of have two main event scenes, if that makes sense. And I know towards the end, the world titles, the world heavyweight title, can treat it like a mid-card belt anyway, but still, I just don't think there's enough guys who would really contend. I mean, we barely have enough guys who can, you know, we barely have enough contenders for the WWE World Heavyweight title as it is. Do you really think there's enough contenders for the World Heavyweight title? Like, realistically, who, excluding injured people, could compete for the world titles? I mean, obviously you've got Roman Reigns as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I guess Dean Ambrose is always an option. AJ Styles at the minute, obviously he's the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight title. I mean, I guess you could say Chris Jericho. You know, he's kind of been in and around that main event scene. Again, I don't really know what you can say. I mean, Owens and Zayn are outside that main event scene. They're not quite there yet, but I think they will be very soon. Bray Wyatt, again, he's in that kind of position of just outside, and he's injured as well. Cena's injured, he's not back till May 30th, I guess you could throw him in there. Rollins, but, you know, again, he's injured, we don't know when he'll be back. It's just that there's not enough people, I think, for the WWE World title, let alone having two world titles. Like, who would you have as the World Heavyweight Champion? I guess maybe Jericho, and then have him like face guys like Cesaro and stuff, because there's not enough top heels as well. I think that's a big problem as well. Like, it's all good having these babyface versus babyface matches, but I just don't think as well there's enough heel main eventers, and that's why I think Roman Reigns should turn heel, because there's just not enough top heels. I mean, the top heel really, I guess, you've got Jericho. Rollins was the top heel until he got injured. You know, there's just no one really who can really be a top heel in this brand split. And I think, I mean, granted it would get people watching SmackDown again, but, you know, I just don't really see the point. There's not enough guys to fill one show. Like, I think, and that kind of proves it, like, you know. And I guess it would give more airtime to guys like Kalisto, who I barely see on TV. He's on pay-per-views. He's on the freaking pre-show every time. But again, I think because of the amount of injuries as well that the roster has, like having the brand split, like we'd see so many of the same matches over and over again because it limits the amount of matches you're having because you have certain people on certain brands, and it would just kind of get a bit repetitive after a while. And I guess having separate brands could potentially give a chance for people to get built up and be put in the main event scene. But if you put in people who aren't necessarily ready for the main event scene yet, and you're kind of putting them in there, fans are just going to kind of be a bit not really buy it in a way, I think. And that's why it's ultimately WWE's fault why we can't have a brand split, because they haven't built up enough guys. Like, as I said before, like, legitimately, who do you have in the main event right now? You've got Reigns, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose is, he's the kind of guy you can throw into the main event. He'll lurk in and out. Owens and Zayn, I'd say, are nearly there, but they're not. I wouldn't classify them as main eventers. Same with Cesaro. Again, he's nearly there, but again, he's not someone who is consistently in the main event. And then you've got Jericho, who could be put in the main event if he wants to, but he's getting towards the end of his career. Bray Wyatt injured, and he's always one guy they always tease of him being in the main event, and then they just feed him to someone. Rollins injured, don't know when he's going to be back. Cena's going to be back soon, but I'm really unsure whether they'll put him in the main event scene or not. They probably will, to be honest with you. And Randy Orton as well. Like, where is Randy Orton? I mean, I know obviously he's injured. We have no idea when he's going to be back as well. I think he probably would need to turn heel as well, honestly, because I think you need a top heel in the WWE, and I think Randy Orton would be that sort of person who could fill that gap. But anyway, do I think a brand split is something that should be gone forever? No. I think definitely when the WWE in the future gets a much bigger and talented roster, and the roster now is talented to be fair, but when they get an even bigger and even more talented roster, I think there will be a need for a brand split. But, for example, like, look at 2002. You had such a diverse and talented roster. You had so many, like, talented guys that they all weren't going to fit on one show, which is why I think it was needed having, like, Triple H on Raw, and having Lesnar on SmackDown, and then it gave chance, like, in the brand split at that time, gave chance for people like Cena to build up over time, and Batista, and those kind of guys, because you had the main eventers. You had so many main eventers at that time. It allowed the undercard guys, people like Cena, to develop and grow eventually into main eventers. Unfortunately, there's not enough main eventers now to do that, and that's why I don't think the brand split is needed yet. Could it happen in the future? Yeah, definitely. When there's more main eventers and there's more depth in the roster, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little kind of thoughts video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, guys.